Hey there, this is Scotia. I've got a totally different type of video for you today. I'm going to incorporate a little bit of my real people life into this. So in my real life, I'm actually a certified wound specialist. I've got a doctoral level degree, and I love wound care. I love skin. It's my jam. It's gross, gory, awesome. And you might have noticed I've got a couple tattoos, and well, tattoos are just another type of wound. So I've got a kind of cool combining of these worlds because I have a new tattoo and I want to go over a little bit of the aftercare of what to do with it. So with these, with these that I got probably 4 or 5 years ago on my arms, those were healed with like the more traditional, not traditional, but like American traditional tattoo healing, where you have it tattooed and you put saran wrap on for a few hours and it's kind of gooey and dripping down your arm, and you take it off and just like gently pat it dry, and you apply a salve every, several times a day. You want to keep it moist. So I'm going to go over this like newer type of wound healing I hadn't done before. So let me set up the camera because I apparently can't speak and hold it at the same time. All right, there we go. I'll get this lined up a little better. A squishy. Oh yeah, it's a good TV there. Okay, so you'll notice if you've ever had a tattoo, well, or if you've seen one, that there's a little bit of a film on here. And this is a Saniderm or Tegaderm type film, which is basically a semi-porous, transparent membrane, and it sticks to your skin. It's essentially waterproof. I mean, you definitely should not soak in a tub, but you can take a shower, and it's been awesome. So principles of wound healing is you never want to let it scab over. And I'm going to refer to all this as wounds because that's all that a tattoo is. It's a giant wound that you purposefully did to yourself. Essentially, you've got thousands and tens of thousands of little punctures through the epidermis into the dermis, and that's what deposits the ink. When you get that tattoo, you'll notice that it's very weepy. It will be raised and red. That's part of that inflammatory response, and it's the normal part of wound healing. I'm exactly six days out from when I got this piece done. This is a 5-hour tattoo, so it's a little bit of a bigger one, and it has 4 different shades of like gray and black within it. So these spots had to be gone over multiple times, and it was pretty irritated, but that's part of what a tattoo is. So getting back to it, you want to make sure that you've got moist wound healing. You never want to let it dry and scab up because that's going to create bigger wound. You're going to lose your ink, and it's potential for infection. It's bad news. So always keep it moist. This is really, really neat, and I have enjoyed this healing process because with this membrane over it, I've been able to go to work. I haven't had to worry about anything weeping through my clothes, and it has been much less painful. If you haven't had a tattoo before, it's painful getting it. I mean, it's a needle being repeatedly poked into your skin, making these little wounds. But the healing process is actually pretty painful. You end up getting that swelling, again, part of that natural inflammatory response. It gets that redness, and you'll notice that there's a fluid oozing from it. We would call it like a serosanguinous fluid. So serous is like the clear plasma part of the blood, and sanguinous, it's your blood. So the fluid that's coming out is just a little bit of plasma and blood, and you'll see the ink in it as well. I keep everything black and gray, so when it's moist, it ends up just looking like this dusky haze. What happened with this Saniderm is it kind of swells up and it raises up a few millimeters. You just leave it be. If you can kind of see here, there's maybe a tiny piece that wasn't covered, and that allowed for these like little rivulets of that fluid to come out. No big deal. You just kind of pat it dry and let it be. I want to show you a little example here of if it starts to peel up, you just kind of trim it away. You don't want to pull on it. So you're just going to trim. And this way you can maintain that bandage while it's healing. After the first, I would say 4 or 5 days, you've gone through that pain phase. It's not painful at all. It's maybe slightly irritated now. Again, this is day 6, like almost to day 7. But this is usually what I would consider the worst time because it's very, very itchy. You've got new skin cells, that new epidermis that's growing, and yeah, it tends to be really irritating. But this one has been awesome with this this moist wound healing technique. It hasn't been hardly itchy at all. By the way, I should mention, don't scratch your new tattoo. That's a terrible idea. Your nails can just cause more damage to the skin. Nails, not clean. Our skin's covered in bacteria normally. And yeah, you could introduce some infection there. What else do I want to mention about this? Yeah, I think we're ready to get started. I did wash my hands right before this video. When you are cleaning your tattoo, you do not need to use, actually please do never use alcohol, peroxide, bad idea. It's gentle baby skin, so just leave it be. All right, I'm going to show you some techniques of how to remove this transparent film bandage. We're going to find a little corner. And if you were to just like rip this off, that would be, it wouldn't be the best option. What you want to do is you want to anchor the skin. So hold your skin taut so it's not like pulling on it. And then you're going to give it a little opposite tug like that. There's another technique that you can do, which is where you anchor down here and you stretch the transparent film a little bit and it just kind of pulls up and gets a little air pocket under there. Whatever works for you, but again, the trick to this is you want to make sure that your skin's not like wiggling and pulling all over. So, here, again, you want to hold your skin down, and I'm actually pulling it like a, I don't know, what is that, 45 degree from this side of my skin? And just keep moving it along. Kind of neat. You'll notice you've got a little bit of dry skin, but it's fairly moist under here still. Again, I haven't had to touch this for 6 days, and it's been pretty awesome. And I have to admit, it's kind of funny that I didn't do this before, like combine the principles of wound healing with the tattoos that I got done. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a nice time to see that these worlds are in fact very similar. It's all just skin. Okay, pulling out, pulling out. If you notice, it looks darker here than when I pull it up. It looks a lot lighter. And that's because some of the ink is going to be pushed out. Ink is just a foreign body, and your body is trying to reject it because it's like, what did you do to me? And that's normal. You're going to lose some of that ink. All right, pulling out. Not painful at all. You could see some of those like little skin cells on there. Gross. Actually, skin's amazing. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm not doing this with gloves, it's because this is my own skin. You're dealing with your own skin, and our skin is not sterile, and wounds are not sterile. They should be clean, but they're always going to have that layer of bacteria. It's just part of our normal flora, just the normal stuff that's on us. All right, so got this peeled off. A little bit stingy, but not too bad. This is by far the least painful tattoo aftercare that I've had. All right, so normally I would probably do this in the shower, but we're just gonna do a little cleaning here. You want to just kind of dab, get any of that devitalized skin off, but you don't want to be rough with it. Cool. And there we go. Nice. Okay, so got your skin all cleaned off here. Again, typically a good idea would be to just use regular soap and water in the shower. Yeah, I thought that I was maybe going to put another transparent film on this for a couple of days, but it's looking pretty healed. I should, sorry, I guess I should mention that when I say healed, I mean those open areas, those open wounds have closed, but this is still going to go through a phase of healing for the next several weeks, up to a couple of months. you might see some changes and some lightening of the color, and that's all normal. All right, so want to give it a little bit of protection because, again, this is baby skin. Brand new skin. It's just grown. It needs some time to mature. The best thing to do is just like an unscented moisturizer. You don't want to put a bunch of globby stuff on there. This one, so I couldn't find my unscented right away, but this is my natural paraben-free kind of stuff. And yeah, just give a little coating and your skin will just like soak it up. It's going to absorb it. You don't want to make it thick. You don't want it to scab over. Just let it soak up. And in a couple of hours, if I feel like it's still dry, I'll probably do another little coating here. Nice. In case you're wondering, this is part of my Ernst Haeckel series. He's a German, I believe he's a German naturalist, one of those contemporaries of Darwin in the late 1800s. So yeah, I'm sure you've seen some of his stuff around, but that'll be going down the rest of it. Okay, so just like a quick recap, I guess, is if you remember anything, you want to make sure that your new tattoo is kept moist, not too moist. You don't want it to be soggy and gross. If you're using this transparent film healing technique, you just leave it be. It's going to look a little bit squishy and it's going to be raised. Just leave it be. You can put an ice pack on it for comfort, just for about 20 minutes. Don't sleep with an ice pack on it. And then, yeah, and I've heard anywhere between 4 to 6, up to 7, never leave it on longer than that. But 4 to 6 days, you can keep that film in place and just let your body do its thing. With that fluid, that serosanguinous fluid, that goo that's coming out, it's got a bunch of protein and nutrients in it. And your body's just trying to take care of those little punctures and heal it up and then give you an awesome looking tattoo. All right, so again, this is a new technique for me. I mean, I use it in wound care all the time with different types of wounds, not tattoo wounds. But it works just the same here. It's the same principles. You just want to make sure that you get new skin and prevent infection while you're healing it. So I hope that you have some happy tattoo times. And just remember, getting the tattoo is only the first part of it. It's probably almost 100 times longer than the amount of time that you spend getting it, that you're going to spend healing it. And I don't think we often talk about that. But if you can sit through a tattoo, you can get through this stuff. And I hope that you have a nice, new, fresh skin looking stuff. This makes no earthly sense, but that's okay. Leave some comments. Tell me if you've had any bad experiences or any tips and tricks that you've heard of. And I will talk to you later. Bye.